Hey everybody, BDL 44 coming into another video. So I'm eating breakfast. I'm ranting to myself as I always do. So I'm crazy like that. But I turned on the camera because this is important. And I'm not looking at the camera because I have it sideways so that it'll sit properly while it's on the charger. But what I want to talk about is, I've mentioned Wack 100 a lot in this camera. Not a lot, but about 5 times I made some videos in regards to stuff. Sometimes it was stuff I wasn't too happy about. Once or twice it was some things that I wanted to give him credit for. This time is something I just think was very, very, very dangerous. Very dangerous. So as you know, I'm from Los Angeles, California. And I was raised around people of different races. When I was raised, it wasn't a lot of black people around me. It was only Spanish people, Hispanic people, and Armenian people. That was it. That's all I knew. All of my friends, all of my homies were of that race, or it was family members who were black. And a couple friends that we had, family friends who were black, that kind of thing. Because my mom, we found our friends in our circles. Some of them were Spanish as well. My best friends, I spent a lot of time in his household. His mom's Mexican, and she always treated me as her own. Until this very day, I look at her as a mother figure, and that's not one of those things where I say, "See, I got a friend." No, that's like family to me. I lay my life down to ensure that they're okay, like literally. And so it's like for me, I understand not a whole lot about gang politics, nor would I dare to speak on that. Y'all business. I don't know nor understand. But I understand that they exist. And I understand that Wack 100 was speaking about something particularly on a clubhouse where he was talking about, he was having a conversation with the individual who had allegedly been asking him to sign him. And because he's from a rival gang, politics make it so that it's dangerous for him to do business with these people. And when it's broken down and understood, you see where his position is and you understand why he's in between a rock and a hard place. And I think a lot of what was said in this conversation was removed to kind of zero in on some things that were negative as it pertains to racial energy between himself and his enemies. But unfortunately, his enemies happen to be a Mexican gang. And he is essentially not articulating himself in the conversation well enough for everybody to clearly understand that he's not trying to pin black versus brown. But because it's perceived that way, it's very important that he understand that his voice is going to carry that way. And that's why I got on here as a civilian, as a person outside of that, as a person who lives in a Mexican neighborhood. I don't have any problems with anybody of any kind at all. So I'm not qualified to say what should be done in terms of conflicts and stuff. I don't have enemies. All of my enemies are internal, honestly. So that's me. But at the same time, it's like there are people out there who will listen to what Wack 100 is saying, who are not aware of the politics, who maybe live in different states where the politics aren't even like that, who are going to say, LA people don't get along, LA black people don't get along with LA brown people, so it's just an understanding we don't get along. And they will take that energy and they will push it out into the world, wherever they're at, spread that hatred, spread that racism. That's not what Wack voice should be for. Now, your realities, everybody has their own realities. Politics, things of that nature, especially if you're involved in shaky stuff. Yeah, it's going to be some things. And those things should not be heard by ears like mine. I should never know nor understand what you got going on over there. Because at the end of the day, ain't nothing good coming out of that for us. Not for us. For civilians, we can't do nothing with this understanding. But what we can do is take from it what we understand, what we have in our lives, and promote that misunderstanding of what it is you're talking about. Go back and start fights with people that don't look like us just because you have promoted that this energy exists and a couple people on the party line with you co-signed it, who may understand what you're talking about to be what it is you're talking about, and like you don't understand that it's promoting something entirely different to people who don't. But it's still irresponsible at the end of the day. Very irresponsible. And that's the point. It's about the articulation of this of what it is that he's trying to say. If you can't properly articulate, hey, I don't get along with these groups of people because my group of people, have history with them that makes it so that we can't do business. And leave it at that. You ain't gotta say I don't sign none of them, and we don't do that, and the blacks got a problem with them. You can't be doing all that. You can't be doing all that. Because at the end of the day, people are not going to understand where you're coming from. They don't have any inside understanding of your politics, and they're not going to walk away from it the same way you walk away from it. The world you are from is not the world we are in. But we are listening and we are acting because we are listening to what it is you're saying. Halfway listening, because most people don't understand it. That's the thing. It's like even if you explain it to them, you got to give them more. They got to be able to ask questions to understand the circumstance. They don't know that you get along with other people of that race. They don't know. They can't. They don't. You're not saying that. You're not articulating that clearly for those who don't listen to every single word you say, who only half listen and run with stuff, which is like literally 70% of the population. You got to articulate things extremely concise so that people will understand exactly what you're saying the first time. Because the second time, third time, fourth time, fifth time, by the time the real truth gets to them, they already got their feelings, emotions, and their respect and all. It's a lot, man. And we're in a space where the streets on fire, not only in this city, but literally everywhere. We don't need people promoting racial division of any kind. Or, more specifically, what could be perceived by those who don't listen properly. And while you may say, it's not my responsibility to make somebody listen, yes it is if you're speaking. Yes, it is if everybody who's listening to you about to walk away and do what it is that you tell them to do or not do or what have you. If you have influence, which you do, like 100, then you got to respect that every single word that comes out of your mouth is going to have some implications on the behaviors of other people. Some of those people are not smart enough to think for themselves, so all they're going to do is what you tell them to do. That's it. In fact, I could argue that is your demographic. It's those type of people. Cut and dry. So my thing is, no, I understand that there are circumstances that make it so that you can't just move like I would move and then be friends with everybody. That's cool. That's fine. But promoting that information, that understanding, is not responsible because you can't be clear. You are not able to be clear. Without going against some things that are very, very serious in your situation. So because you can't be clear, you shouldn't be vague either. You should be concise, in my opinion. I can't do business with you. It's not because of your race. It's because of my political backing. What matters to me and who I matter to won't allow me to do business with you. That's it. That is it. Anything outside of that is irresponsible. Anything outside of that is misdirecting people in the wrong way. And that is what needs to be said. It's not about you changing your ways or leaving your people out to dry or allowing others to tell you how to run your business. Because I listened, I heard what he had to say. I got it fully. And all I walked away from it is that he didn't get it fully. He's too busy trying to be what it is he's trying to be to realize what it is he's actually going to do, which is bring people further apart. So that's what I wanted to say about that. And look, like I said, I don't, you know what I mean? I don't have a horse in the race. I'm not looking at his situation specifically and saying, yo, you have to do it this way so that it'll look that way. No, I don't feel that way. I don't think he should cave in what it is he feels he should do or not do in this case. It's just how you articulate that point while others are listening. That's it. It's how you articulate that point while others are listening. That's it. And I know that like Wack 100 is an entertainer. So a lot of what he does is in the spirit of entertainment. And what's entertaining right now is beef. What's entertaining right now is drill culture. So he's walking that fine line, having come from that. knowing that being in the entertainment space and seeing the entertainment space is something above the streets, for which he said a million times that the entertainment trumps the streets in his mind, and he's going to move accordingly. All of that is understood, but if you're going to be in that entertainment game, you got to understand there are a lot of people listening. Some of them who are just looking for entertainment, and others who are looking for direction. Sometimes even spiritual direction. How I should move. How do I become real? There's a lot of people out here who have no idea what real is, and they're listening to you to figure out what that is. And you telling me to be racist? Okay, I can do that. Or they'll just be stupid, just hella dumb. Just run around, never been to LA, have never been in LA. Will come to LA listening to what you said about blacks and Mexicans, and will be tense around Mexican people just because they don't know nothing but what you told them. People that otherwise don't have no problem with them, but will have a problem with them if they bring problems to them. Not everyone in Los Angeles doesn't get along. Not every black person gangbang, not every Mexican person gangbang, and not every gangbanger hate everybody or hate one another. It's not that simple. So do not listen to what Wack had to say and think that that's something that you need to follow. Because that is not the way to go. That racism stuff don't get you nowhere. Being a bigot toward your brothers or your sisters or people that don't look like you, it only creates more bad energy coming your way and your family's way. All it's ever done is make people worse people. That's all it's ever done. And that's not what Wack was trying to tell you to do. But because he didn't articulate it in a way that was clear, and because he said some things that were disrespectful, it came off that way. It came off as if he was trying to tell people, hey, this is what I'm doing, follow that. And we got to be aware that we still have some growing to do in life. We have these certain ideas and perspectives about people and groups. We need to understand that tomorrow we may come to a different conclusion. Tomorrow we may meet somebody and make us feel totally different, and what is said has already been said, especially when it's on camera. So now when you come to some great conclusion that maybe it's just not necessary to be this way anymore, what you've said has already been heard, and somebody else is carrying that with them. Whether you've come to some conclusion or not, they're carrying it with them. You know, so I hope to offset that in whatever little way I can. To say, I don't have no problems with nobody. Black, Mexican, white, I don't have no problems. And I was born and raised in Los Angeles. I know people who are affiliated in things, although I'm not myself. I have family members, all of that. Some people I know may not have had the best relationships with people who weren't of the same skin color as them. That didn't influence me, nor will this. We got to think for ourselves. We got to feel how you feel, but most importantly, you got to understand your voice, especially if you're famous. It's going to carry weight, and not everybody's going to hang on to every word. Not everybody's even going to understand every word. You use certain slang, say certain things, they going to not know none of that. All they heard was black, Mexican, and hate, or black, Mexican, and conflict. And that's all they heard. They didn't understand nothing about no politics. They don't know the names. They don't know none of that. They don't know what you're talking about, nothing. They just heard that. That's it. And we got to respect that stupidity. We need to respect that stupidity. We need to know it exists and communicate in such a way to where we can reach them just like you can reach anybody else. Because if you just think that everybody's going to hang on to every word or get what you're saying or that you're articulating yourself properly, trust you me, nah. There's a million people who ran away from that saying Wack is a racist. A million people ran away from that saying Wack was irresponsible. A million people walking away from that saying Wack don't like Mexican people. And that's going to hold consequences for not only Wack. And that's why it's important for me to speak out. Because I'm not with that. I'm not with that. I don't want to be a victim to that. I don't want to do something to somebody else because of that. You understand what I'm saying? I don't want nobody coming to me with that energy because they think I'm thinking like that when I'm not. And that's the reality of it anyway. We didn't need no help with that. So yeah, I'm disappointed in Wack for that display and for not recognizing how important his voice is and for not using it for something that's going to bring people together, not split them apart. And look, like I said, your politics are yours, man. I'm not going to sit up here and say when things happen and you should get over them or none of that. He's probably still very much involved in whatever he's involved in, however it go. You can't turn it off like that. But you can be responsible with your voice so that you don't lead people in directions that they don't need to be going. And I remember it. I'm from LA. I remember race wars. High school. I remember junior high school. Race wars. I remember that shit. Wasn't nothing good about it. Wasn't no good energy about it. People were fighting each other for reasons that didn't make no sense. People were hating each other for reasons that didn't add up for nothing. Fighting only on random days. Every other day they cool. But like on this day we want to fight together because that's what we do on this day. Like this was a weird time I'm talking about. Back in the late 90s, early 2000s. We went through that. We trying to overcome that. And that's what I heard. That's the display that the other side of Wack's situation was trying to show. I think he understood everything I just said for the last 15 minutes. Now, that doesn't mean he wasn't doing what Wack was saying he was doing, which was trying to force him to do business with him. It doesn't necessarily mean that none of that wasn't happening. It just means that he was being more responsible with his voice while other people were listening. As to be respectful to you. Even if he hates your guts and everybody look like you, he wasn't going to let himself and the people he represent be seen in that light by people who are not understanding of their politics. That's where Wack didn't help his situation. It's about that display, man. How are you being seen while you're saying what you're saying? Are you going to be looked at as somebody who can be given the benefit of the doubt? Or are you going to be looked at as somebody who's not going to be? You know? We gotta remember that. Whatever you got going on, it is what it is. But the display you show to everybody else, that's what people are going to judge you by. So that's what I want to say. But yes, love to everybody, man. You know, as I always say, there's no B without Brown. I grew up, as early as my life began, I was in households of people that didn't look like me, being fed, praying, learning how to tie my shoes. In Mexican households, black households, Armenian households. You understand what I'm saying? That's what makes up what you're looking at. That was my reality all my life. So I can't be racist. I don't know how to be racist. I don't even know what racism feels like. I don't know how. You feel me? I'm afforded that, and I'm blessed to afford that. Not everybody has that, but because I exist, let that be an example of why racial tension doesn't always need to exist. Here I am. My name is BDL44. I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.